Porter Hill, which was torn down in 1958. Earlier, it was viewed as the Aubert residence. This was the home of the Leadham family, currently the Sohegan Country Club. Note the old Congregational Church steeple in the background. Next we have three pictures of the George Luggie house in Davis Village. First was taken in 1877. The last two are views in 1955. It was built by Josiah Fletcher. The house and garage are no longer attached. Here we have a picture of the Appleton house, known to most of us as Appleton Manor. To the right of the Appleton house we have the home of Margaret Days. Note the building to the left, which is our next picture. This was once the apothecary shop of Dr. John Preston. It was torn down in 1964. Next we have three views of the construction of the flood control dam near Gibson Four Corners. This is the Addy Hardy house on Old Country Road near Appleton Academy. The remains of the old brown mill in Bank Village. This view is from Taylor Hill, looking at Highbridge. The Messinic Hill is in the background. Next we have four pictures in the Highbridge area. The dam, the bridge, the mill, and this was schoolhouse number 12, viewed from the other side of the bridge, or the Messinic side of the bridge. This is the W. E. Preston blueberry pasture in Bank Village, along Waterloon Pond. The Grand Union cot with Clarence Webster, pictured in 1913. Next we have four pictures of the Appleton Homestead on Appleton Road. Here we have two pictures of the Nyman place, which was destroyed by fire. This was the Taylor Place on Taylor Road in Smithville, known to many of us as Lutela's. Next we have two pictures of the Bancroft Place in Wilder Village. Hazel describes its location as the cellar hole on the knoll above the brook. Next we have four pictures of the Earl Pickering home. The first two are before remodeling. The second two are after remodeling. It's located on Main Street just beyond the Town Hall, on the left. The Watatic Grange Hall. We have two pictures of the Barrett Mansion. Here we view the Lee House from across the Appleton Academy campus. And across from the Lee House we have the Fanny Barr home. Former home of the late Pearl Thompson on Main Street. And across the street, the former Tewksbury House, known to most as Durfee's. The former home of George Saunders, currently Glavy Antiques. The old corner store and Clark's Hotel from the Turnpike. And the old corner store from Main Street. Next we have two pictures of the Taberham House in Bank Village, built by Charles Barrett III. The Waterloon Dam in Bank Village, pictured in 1921. The ruins of the Waterloo Mill and Bank Village, also pictured in 1921. Looking from Hazel's backyard, we have the Thayer Block, Laura Emma's, Mildred Hastings, and the old blacksmith shop. The veteran Willow in late fall, referred to as the Natural Bandstand, was located on the Fanny Barr property. The new Congregational Church, the Civil War monument pictured in 1921. Next, we have the former Emma Tucker home on Main Street. The Dean Prescott home to the right is at the base of Porter Hill Road. This is the Verdina Koivula home on Porter Hill Road. A picture from 1932 of the wallpaper in the George Saunders home, currently Glavy Antiques. The wallpaper has since been removed. And this is the Wapak Lodge. And here we have Mr. Samuel Thayer at his residence in 1919. This is a view of Smithville Center looking towards the bridge. And our last photo is of the Little Hill Place in Smithville. The following 71 photographs are from the Barr collection. The Barr family at one time or another owned all of the property from the bank area to Academy Road to Main Street. This album is of that area only. Our first picture is looking up Main Street with the Fletcher building on the right. The old corner store would be across the street. The new Ipswich Library. The Ames Dormitory on Manley Road. The Center Village from the viewpoint of the John Barnett residence. The old barn in the foreground is the Balcom building. This is the high rock on Furnace Brook, located behind the town pool. This view is from the rear of the old corner store and library area, towards the John Barnett residence. The ruins of the Balcom building are in the center of the picture. Fanny Barr home on Academy Street, viewed from Main Street. A stagecoach out front of the old post office that was in the old corner store. The Academy building that was built in 1853-54. The John Barnett residence, known to most of us as Dr. Kaywood's. The Appleton Inn, known today as Appleton Manor. The next 5 pictures are of the James Barr home on Main Street called Bar Harbor. These were taken before the stone wall was built. The next 4 photos are of the same building after the stone wall was built. Next we have the garden behind Mr. Barr's home with the Willowbrook Tavern in the background. The library can be seen to the right in this view of the garden. This picture is of the Fanny Barr home from the rear. This is the Barr camp on Old Country Road near Waterloom Pond. Next we have 2 photos of the house and barn that were moved from Main Street between the library and Bar Harbor to a location where the Balcom or Beehive building was on the Turnpike, directly across from the New Ipswich Market, where they still stand today. Next we have a view of the center village from the perspective of the Homestead Inn. Willowbrook Tavern can be seen to the left. Thayer Cigar Factory in the center. This is a view from the John Barnett residence, showing the property that was moved from next to the library to the former site of the Balcom building. That's the building on the extreme right. Next, we have 3 views of Clark's Hotel on the corner of the Turnpike and Main Street. next 13 photographs center around the same hotel when owned and operated by James Barr, who renamed it the Willowbrook Tavern. The original barn from Clark's Hotel was torn down in 1908. The rebuilt barn, of which we have two views here, was for many years the site of very popular dances. This barn was torn down in 1979. Here are three more views of the rear of the tavern where the livestock could be seen. Mr. Barr is in this picture. To the rear and the left is the Fanny Barr home. And here on the left is Mr. Barr. And here we have a group of visitors to the tavern. The Levy Antiques building can be seen in the rear. Our next 8 photographs are of the Homestead Inn, located on the corner of Main and Academy Streets. Originally, it was purchased by the Reverend George Prescott of Boston. He bought it in the early 1890s, and it became a vacation destination for self-supporting women from the city. They could spend a few weeks here in the summer for a very modest sum. You see the Baptist church in this view. Here we see some construction to the rear porch. Next we have three views of the Fanny Barr house, also known as the old Hotwell place. Next we have three pictures of the veteran Willow, located next to the Fanny Barr home. The entire Ashby band could be seated in the tree to perform for Miss Barr's garden parties. It was cut down due to storm damage. Here we see the path crossing the brook back towards Fanny Barr's home. Here we have a view of the stream backup, probably from the hurricane of '38, behind the Barr property that was moved to the turnpike. Here we have two pictures of a group of horseback riders leaving the Willowbrook Tavern. Note the buildings on the corner where the current PTA park is. Next we have three views from the Homestead Inn of an ice storm. This picture is looking up King Road with Appleton Academy on the right. We close this collection with 6 views of the gardens at Fanny Barr's.